Welcome to the glorious slopes of the Zhangjiakou Genting Snow Park. Day 3 of the Beijing 2022 Paralympic Winter Games, and medals are up for grabs in the para snowboard cross. Just one gold available in the women's competition, that's the SBUL2 category, but there's a lot to squeeze in. As you can see, we've got a couple of LL1 riders. Stage is set, looking for the ride of their lives, these athletes. Conditions looking optimal out there.
Indeed, optimal conditions. Third time Paralympics has had snowboarding. It all started in 2014 Sochi, but the first time ever we're going to see 4 riders on the course at the same time in snowboard cross, and it's going to be fireworks for sure.
Snowboard cross is something special, and para snowboard is just that bit better. We are going to see the best of the best in glorious conditions out there. This really is the greatest snow on earth for our Paralympians.
And we call it OC, optimal conditions. You got bluebird skies. You can't ask for better conditions for this. When you have the bluebird skies, that means you can see the definition. You can see the lines, you can see the turns, and it does make for some great riding and some good snowboard action coming your way.
Now, our course designer and his crew have been out there cleaning the course, preparing the course, as we take a look at our first competition, the women's snowboard cross SBUL2. But we see Cecile Hernandez in the top there, fastest qualifier, and she is actually an LL1 qualifier, went to court for her right to compete in Beijing 2022. So she will be one of the first out of the start as we prepare for the women to get underway. Just the one women's competition, the 2 other categories dropped from Beijing 2022, which is why there's a little bit of legal action, and Brenna Huckabee also on that legal case to get into the competition as an LL1 rider in other competition. But it is going to be spectacular. How will the Chinese perform? That is the big question.
Well, the big question is going to be answered in not too distant future, because People's Republic of Chinese athletes, they have been on point. They did things quite well in qualifications, and they're ready to do things in a big way. You talk about the course designer, Steve Morrison, the Canadian, designed this course and designed it to be, in his words, more rippable, allowing the athletes to perform at their very best, and we're going to see that here today.
Nice to see the board up there getting its waxing treatment. Wax on, wax off.
And that's very important. You have to think about the conditions. We have a lot warmer conditions, which we had during the Olympic Games. The conditions were quite cold. Now you get softer snow, so that does make a difference. And wax choice is paramount. You really got to scrape the bottoms, make sure that board is properly tuned to be able to attack this snowboard cross course. Here's a look at it right here. It starts with the Wu-Tang section. You can see that right there off the start, and that can make or break you. You need to get through that, and then you got that sharp turn to start with. Now, you think about this snowboard cross course, compare this to what they rode during the Olympics. It's the same course. It's 1/3 of a way shorter, but I'll tell you what, it is going to be awesome. It's not going to be awesome, because we have jumps on there, we have big berms, we have rollers, we have something for every snowboarder.
Now the Wu-Tang at the top was a little testing in qualifying, as we have our first riders stacked and racked. So who can we talk about in the quarterfinals? Who's going to progress through? The first 2 riders will be guaranteed a place in the semi-final stage. The other 2 will drop out of the competition. Now, Cecile Hernandez was quickest. She's wearing the red bib. She's chosen to ride in lane 2. Being the fastest, she gets to pick her lanes. As we hear the countdown, just 10 seconds till the Paralympic competition gets underway. And the countdown not quite going to plan there. In the blue, we've got Romy Schopp of Switzerland. And in the green, Sandrine Hamel of Canada. Ready to go again. The trap's down, and the riders are up and over.
And Hernandez is the first one over that Wu-Tang section. She's going to be the #1 spot. That's going to be Hamel in green for Canada, #2. The top 2 will be the ones to move on. So Hernandez looking solid. And the thing here is, when you get a lead, like you see that Hernandez has, you don't have to worry about the other riders behind you. Now you can run your race. The lines that you found in qualifications are the lines you can hunt for out here today. And Hernandez being in that #1 spot, she's going to feel real solid, because you look at the next competitor behind her, far back, that is going to be Sandrine Hamel from Canada in green in #2. So Hernandez, France 1, Hamel, Canada, green, #2 right now.
So a little problem for Shop getting over that Wu-Tang section at the top.
You can see the lines that she's drawing. Hernandez showing you why she's wearing that red bib. She goes to the final jump here.
And she stomps that one down, crosses the line comfortably for Hernandez. All those battles in the legal court for the right to compete at Beijing 2022 justified Sandrine Hamel of Canada books her place in the semi-finals of the Women's Snowboard Cross SBLL2.
Well, good racing to start things out, and you kind of expected Cecile Hernandez to do good things, and when you get that whole shot, and you get the start, and you get the lead, you can do the race that you want to run. You don't have to worry about the other competitors, and you can see Cecile Hernandez with that huge lead really helped her out. You see the start. Now you watch her right there. She pumps down to the Wu-Tang, and that just shows that she has command. Now when she goes transition to transition at the start of that Wu-Tang, you clear the top, you land on the transition on the way down. That keeps your momentum forward, and she held that thing all the way through.
And we need to address the Wu-Tang. It's to do with your dance move position that you need to get through it. I hear Wu-Tang, and I think I need to dance.
Wu-Tang is for the children, is the old saying, but Wu-Tang was named after a famous Breckenridge jump in Colorado, and that's where it originally got its name. It was unpredictable, and the Wu-Tang section is very unpredictable.
And you lean forward as you jump.
It's kind of a preload, we call that. So
there are 2 qualifiers. And Remy Shop bows out of the competition. Quarterfinal 2. Lisa de Jong, the fastest qualifier. She's chosen to race from trap 4 on the far side of the course. Red, green, blue, yellow. That's how fast you qualify, and that's how you get to choose which lane you're in. That is Lisa de Jong. And she is out and looking to get over that spine, and she is up and in front.
And all 4 competitors getting over the Wu-Tang section solid. Lisa de Jong from Canada on the heel edge here. She is a goofy foot rider, a regular foot rider, excuse me, on that one. She is left foot forward. And when you have that lead, that's the advantage you can hold on to. Curry is going to be in that 2nd spot for Team USA. And you see everything in there, kind of rolling the windows down a little bit for de Jong there, but she's going to keep it solid. Now goes into this bank, tries to go high, come down low. Nice on that toe edge, keeping that lead. You can hear the shouts. Yeah, Canada. De Jong is #1. Brittany Curry from the USA in the #2 spot. You've got Madry also from the US. She is in the 3rd spot. Rensky Van Beek following up in 4th. So here we go to the final jump here for de Jong.
Winds down the windows, lands the jump, crosses the line, and books a place in the semi-finals. That's what she thinks about that.
Just a little back seat there. Madry, and she's going to come across the line right there. But de Jong and Curry.
Courtney, we love you, Courtney! Brittany Curry delighted to book her place in the semi-finals alongside Canada's Lisa de Jong. The North Americans producing the goods. As we see Renske Van Beek.
So not sure what happened to Rensky Van Beek up on the course, but she is making her way down. Glad to see that she is okay and able to finish this. Nice good turn there, going high on the bank. And she will approach the final roller section to the final jump. Rensky Van Beek from the Netherlands.
And safely done. just missed out on a place in Pyeongchang, 4th place in both the snowboard cross and the bank slalom. Not her day today.
Tip, you're my hero.
And take a look at the start. Once again, the start ever so important. And you can see De Jong will take that whole shot. And that's the hardest part of the Wu-Tang, is that second one. If you don't get over that, you have no chance of advancing on, because you will get disqualified if you cannot get over the second part of the Wu-Tang. I like how she points the tip down, the nose down, and really keeps that momentum going forward. And running the race, she knows how to do. Good edge work through the bank turns for De Jong. There's rolling down the windows just a bit. You don't want to get too back seat there. And give that spot up. She lands down on that third line and points it. Arms in the air.
Lisa de Jong, Brittany Curry. They're such a family, the snowboarders. She's got some moves.
Brittany's quite the dancer, isn't she?
Absolutely. Doesn't just do her talking on the course. Quarterfinal 3, and the name Lisa von Schotten will be familiar to many. 2 medals in Pyeongchang 4 years ago. Had the best date night ever, arguably, when she carried the flag for the Netherlands in on the opening ceremony with boyfriend Chris Voss.
Riders into the gate. Riders ready. Attention.
And she's racing 2 Chinese athletes, Li Tiantang and Wang Jingyu. There's Li Tiantian, making sure she's close to von Schotten at the start there.
Oh, yeah. Tiantian keeping it nice and close with Buchanan from the Netherlands, the 26-year-old in that #1 spot, a 3-time Paralympian. She's got 12 top 5s in competition, so you always expect her to be pretty solid. And she looks solid on the jumps, points the nose down, keeps the momentum forward. And I like what she does. She kind of preloads on the jump. You don't want to get a lot of air when it comes to this, because air adds more time to the run and actually will slow you down. So what you do is you almost pre-jump before the jump. That keeps you nice and low, and you keep that momentum forward. See how she goes high, dives low into those bank turns. Good style, good technique from Buchanan. On that heel edge turn there. And that is Tiantian in that #2 spot. Her Paralympic debut, the 18-year-old. And here we go to the finish line.
Just takes a little bit of speed out of the approach to make it safely over the line there. Lisa von Schotten and Li Tiangtiang will join her in the semi-final stage of the women's snowboard cross SBLL2.
You have to be careful on those jumps. You see that little speed check that you talked about. You want to be careful on those speed checks, because if you don't take a speed check, you might go too far, and that could make you fall. So you want to just be in that comfort level of speed.
Confident of the gap she had as well to be able to slow up and still comfortably qualify.
Once again, that second section part of that Wu-Tang is the scary part. You really want to get through that clean. You don't want to have contact with any of the other riders. She looks good on all the jumps. Very good style, showing you why she is who she is and how good she has done. 3-time Paralympian, Schotten looking good. Landing gear down there. Solid landing, stomping that, and then point it right across that finish line.
And that's how you do it. Time to prepare the boards again and prepare for the semi-final for von Schotten and Lee. Now we have Brenna Huckabee, double gold medalist from 4 years ago, but that was in the SBLL1 class. Effectively, she was told she was too disabled to compete in this class and had to take a legal stance about it, and lines up after being successful in that. Huckabee of USA, Geng of China, Hu of China. And it's very evenly coming out the Wu-Tang section.
And the edge right now going to Hu there from China, taking that lead early in blue. And that's going to be Brenna Huckabee in red in the second spot. These riders keeping it close now. 3 in this heat. So top 2 move on, and 1 is eliminated. Our quarterfinal action. Look at the air time that you see out of Huth on that one. And look at that. She's going to have a toe edge here on Huckabee on this turn. So she'll have a little bit of an advantage to try and make that pass. Oh, shuts the door on Huckabee, who's having none of that. You'll see the riders use their toe edges to try and make passes. Some riders are regular foot, some riders are goofy foot. Regular foot riders will stand with their left foot forward. And Huckabee looking for an opportunity, not getting one right there. And here they go to the end, the final jump. Look at this. Huckabee with a slight lead here.
Yeah, Huckabee pumping, stomping, and crossing the line first. Oh, that was a test of Huckabee's nerve coming through there.
And it shows you to stay with it the whole time. Even if you don't think you're going to get that #1 spot, you stay with it, run your race. You just might get it. Check the whole shot out of here. And they were all three just side by side there.
Home snow for the Chinese athletes as well. 100% artificially produced snow. They look very comfortable on this surface. Runs a little slower than fresh natural snow, but they look very much at home. And Huckabee there,
whoa,
toe high.
She got that nose very high up in the air, and that could be trouble right there. She starts rolling down the windows. You don't want to have a mistake right there, because if you fall, that could mean the third place rider could get the jump on you.
We've had some gusting conditions at Beijing 2022 as well. The best use of a podium with a camera is to give a shout out back home. So we have our quarterfinals completed, and our first semi-final will see Cecile Hernandez, LL1 classification, in the LL2 semi-finals, taking on Dion, Khoury and Hamel. They progress by right from the quarterfinals.
Yeah, it's a tough situation in the quarterfinals because the bottom two do get eliminated. Now, when you make it to the semifinals, the bottom two will be put into the small final, so they still have a chance for those valuable World Cup points.
Li and Hu flying the Chinese flag against Huckabee. And we are ready to get underway in the men's snowboard cross SBUL. Once again, 4 quarterfinals. 8 athletes will progress to the semi-final. Our riders looking to produce something special, and the Chinese were qualifying pretty impressively for this. One of them's going to miss out in quarterfinal 4, but we're not there yet. Let's take a look how they will start at the top. And Zhu Yonggang of China in red, fastest qualifier, picks lane 2. In the blue, James Barnes-Miller of the UK, of Great Britain, Mike Miner of the USA in green, and Park Hyuk of Korea.
Yeah, you have red and blue in the #1 and the #2 spot. That's going to be blue. James Barnes-Miller, JBM they call him. He's in the #1 spot. And that's Zhu Yonggang from China in red. And don't count out Mike Miner from the USA in green. He's making a charge. They're off the first jump, setting it down. And you got Miner and James Barnes-Miller really side by side, battling for that #2 spot. All 3 of these riders on the toe edge through this first turn. But right now, Zhu Yonggang from China, first in the Chinese National Games, 19-year-old in his Paralympic debut, has got that #1 spot right now. James Barnes-Miller is now settled into that #2 spot. And Mike Miner trying to play catch up. Remember, the top 2 are the ones that move on. Let's see how it breaks down here to the final jump. Here we go.
Oh, stomped it, Zhu Yonggang, absolutely nailing that there as James Barnes-Miller booked his place in the semi-finals as well. Mike Miner, no showboating from him today, but a pretty impressive race from these athletes in the UL, standing for upper limb impairment. Some great leg work there to actually put some speed into those boards.
And Miner was really trying to look for an opportunity, but James Barnes-Miller was not opening the door for anyone to come on in. And Zhu Yonggang from China was just commanding in this one. People's Republic of China, the athletes have been training. Jurka Stankovic from Serbia has been their international coach, and he competed in PGS, Parallel Giant Slalom. So he really knows all about the edge work, and you can really see the Chinese have taken advantage of that and using that edge work to their advantage.
That's a photo for the album. Zhu and James Barnes-Miller through to the last 8. Moving quickly on to quarterfinal 2 of the men's snowboard cross, SBUL. G of China, Lucchini of Italy, Moro of Italy in the blue, Cardini of Italy in the yellow. The fastest qualifier for this one, Lydia of China. Gates are down, but it's Jacopo Lucchini who made a pretty tasty start there. G of China out in front though.
And no surprise there. These Chinese athletes have been bringing the A game. He's going to be in the #1 spot. That's going to be Lucchini, the Italian, in the #2. 3 Italians racing in this one. So you know one of them is going to advance, or will 2 come on. But I'll tell you what, Xi is really commanding in that #1 spot. But Lucchini with a very solid jump there. Both of them going to be on their heel edge through this first turn in yellow. Cardani trying to find a spot that he can get into that top 2. Remember, it's the top 2 that move on. Look at the work. Ligia looking solid here. On the heel edge through this one, kind of pumping through that turn. Lucchini, the Italian, #2 right now as they approach the final jump.
Oh, well, G is just superb, pumping his legs all the way down there. Looks like he was doing a series of squats down the course. Safely home with Lucchini of Italy booking his place in the semi-final alongside. Didn't really look like he was ever going to threaten the lead of the Chinese athletes, but a very tight, compact style from the Chinese.
We always talk about what you try to do is you try to get this whole shot as soon as possible. If you're fast on the course and you get the whole shot and you get in front of everybody, then you don't have to pay attention to anyone behind you. You can just focus on the race that you're running at that time. And you did just that. Took that lead and did not give that up at all. Just stay solid. Don't get tangled up with another rider and run your race. And hopefully it pays off and you're in the top 2 like Lucchini did and like G did. Look how he keeps those knees bent. Caught a little bit on that heel edge. Got to be careful on those landings.
G and Lucchini qualify for snowboard cross SBUL. Keeping it real.
Keeping it real indeed.
Quarterfinal 3. Now we've got Wang Montagioni of Italy, Masataka, Owani of Japan, E of Korea.
Riders into the gates. Riders ready. Attention.
Montagioni was the form athlete coming into Beijing 2010, but it is Wang who was quickest, and these are the 2 that are out in front.
Oh, yes, indeed. Wang from China once again, a Chinese athlete in the #1 spot. Montagioni from France in green in the #2 spot. And Owani from Japan trying to find a spot. Now, look, Owani's going to be on a toe edge for this turn, so if he can keep it close here, and he might have a chance. It looks like he's going to do just that and try to move into that #2 spot. He does. So Wang stays in the #1 spot. And now blue, Owani from Japan has taken over the #2 spot. Montagioni from France is now in 3rd. Trying to look for an opportunity to get back in the top 10. Or top 2, that is. And look at the toe edge work out of Wang here. And you can see him, Montagioni, trying to find a spot. He's got an opening. Can he use it? Doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it. We'll see how the landing goes. Wait a minute. Here comes the lead charge. Photo finish. So we know Wang is going to be the #1 guy, but we don't know who's #2. Is it Awani from Japan, Montagioni from France?
Well, that was a spectacular finish there. We're going to wait for the pretty picture. No one will have been showboating or posing for that one. It was all about getting the board over the line.
I like the way Montagioni stayed with that. He was relinquished to that 3rd spot, but he just hung with it to try and give Awani a charge. So we'll see how that works. Out of the start, looked pretty solid between the two.
Facing off.
Green and red on that. And you can look at all the opportunities. So sometimes you have that edge. You see both these two competitors on their toe edge there, trying to find the opportunities. And then look at this, staying low. That was key right there. Montagioni staying nice and low off that jump.
Let's see if we get a better idea here. Oh, well, I think that looks to me like Awani. Yep. Awani Masataka of Japan is through to the semi-finals, and the world champion from Lillehammer bows out of the snowboard cross SBUL. Those are our 2 semi-finalists.
What an amazing race that was.
Our final quarterfinal. And wow, this impressive craft, young talent we have from China. Yang, Zhang, Jiang and Petrakis of Greece in the yellow. 14 of the 61 men in the snowboard competition are Chinese, and the talent is there to see. And this looks like it could be difficult to call.
Oh, yes, indeed. They're going to be paddling out because all 3 of them are teammates, but only 2 of them can advance on. So they're going to be keeping it tight here. Konstantinos Petrakas, the first ever Paralympian from Greece in snowboarding, is in that 4th spot. But right now, Yang in red, #1. Oh, he goes down and gives it up. Gives up the #1 spot. And now that's going to open it up for Zhang in green from China, taking that #1 spot. Zihao from China, the 2-time Paralympian, in blue. China 1, 2, and 3. And what a tough break for the 28-year-old Yang Jian in red. Falls on that jump. Here we go. Our 1 and 2 looks like they're set. Let's see how they land here.
Oh, Zhang Yiki absolutely stomped that. And Jiang Jiao joins him in the semi-finals. Yang Jiang was the faster of the qualifiers. He didn't make it through, but Konstantinos Petrakis of Greece completes the course. And that was some great racing.
And we'll take a look here back to the start. And you see all 3 Chinese athletes, 1, 2, and 3 there. Petrakas in the #4 spot. Now you see him pumping through the rollers, staying nice and low. A nice little double up there.
Such similar styles for the Chinese athletes.
And then that's what happened. He got to the heel edge. His legs were extended, went to the heel, and then went down. Was rolling down the windows. You got to stay tight over your board. You got to keep those knees bent so you can absorb the landings.
They're riding this course so well, the Chinese athletes. Great pictures at the bottom of the course. Zhang and Jiang qualify and complete our semi-final lineup in the men's snowboard SBUL.
It's not over till it's over. You got to keep the focus going all the way through.
So semi-final 1, we'll see Zhu of China take on Ji of China, Lucchini of Italy, and Barnes Miller of Great Britain. And then it's Wang Zhang Jiang. Oani. China could lock out the podium in the men's snowboard cross. The first two for each semi-final will go through to the big finals, and the bottom two will go through to the little final. As we move to men's snowboard cross SBLL1. 4 more quarterfinals on the way. Mike Schultz in quarterfinal 3. What a difference he's made to this sport, creating new technology and sharing it with his competitors. There's every chance he could be beaten by his own design on the snow of Beijing. Tyler Turner, fastest qualifier for Canada. Chris Voss of the Netherlands and Bruno Bosjak of Croatia go in the first of these quarterfinals.
Riders ready? Attention!
Tyler Turner on the far side, the fastest qualifier going into the Wu-Tang section, and he looks he's going to be the first man out.
Well, here we go. Tyler Turner in the lead. That's going to be Bruno Bosjak from Croatia in the number 2 spot. But don't count out Voss in green. He's going to make a charge to the outside, see if he can find an opening. And Voss will move into the number 2 spot. Tyler Turner in 1, Voss in 2, and Bosjak in the number 3 spot. Watch the landings, stomping the landings, solid. And look at the lead that Tyler Turner has opened up. Nice inside line there, staying tight on that toe edge. And then dives down in on the heel edge on that turn too as well. Just extend that lead so you don't have to worry about who's behind you. And right now behind Tyler Turner, that's going to be Chris Voss, the 3-time Paralympian, silver, snowboard cross in Pyeongchang. So he's going to keep it down, solid there. Tyler Turner, landing gear down.
Well, he booked a first-class ticket for that ride. Tyler Turner and Chris Voss of the Netherlands, silver medalist in Pyeongchang 4 years ago. Private aircraft pilot as well, but didn't get too much air over there, didn't waste any time on his way down the course, Turner and Voss.
And once again, it comes down to that start. If you're the fastest out there and you can get what we call the hole shot, that means getting the start out of the gate, get that lead, get so far out in front that you don't have to worry about it, you don't have to search for your line, because sometimes the line that you chose in qualification isn't available during the race because you're battling for that line with another competitor, with another rider out there. And Tyler Turner didn't have to look at anybody. The 33-year-old Canadian, boom.
Textbook. Tyler Turner of Canada, Chris Voss of the Netherlands go through to the semi-finals. They'll have 2 more races in the snowball cross. Bruno Bosjak is done. Quarterfinal 2, Liu of China, Elliott of the USA, Eckhardt of Austria, and we have Barberi of Brazil. He took up para-snowboard after discovering that para-triathlon wouldn't be in the program for the 2020 Paralympics in Tokyo. He's in the coordinated yellow, but it is Noah Elliott of the USA who has made the best start.
Well, and you saw the reason Elliott made that great start is he went transition to transition. He cleared the top of the spine, landed on the down part of that transition to get that speed. Great start for Noah Elliott in green, number 1 spot for him right now. And the number 2, that's going to be Liu from China. Oh, he gets a little back seat there. Was able to hold on to that. You do not want to have that mistake and open up the door for your competitor and your rider in 3rd or 4th. But right now, Noah Elliott, USA, the 2-time Paralympian, gold in bank slalom in Pyeongchang, bronze in snowboard cross in Pyeongchang. He knows about the medals, but look at this. Liu making a charge, both on their toe edge here. And takes the opportunity. Liu gets in front of him. And the thing that you don't want to have contact, because you don't want to both go down there, because the first top 2 will move on. Liu will cross the line first, and here comes Noah Elliott, number 2.
Solid finish by both those athletes. Noah Elliott actually pulled out of the World Championships in January because he was having problems with his prosthesis, also due to injury. Such great sporting spirit. It's all about the ride.
And you can see the whole shot. Now watch that. Look how he just clears that so clean to take that lead. And he had a good lead for a very long time, but Liu just waited for the opportunity. You don't have to do it right away. Just look for that chance. And you're watching the other competitor. Look at the line he takes right there. Takes that outside line on him. And then right there, off to the races. Both of them on their toe edge. And if you're the number 2 spot, if you're Noah Elliott, you don't want to collide when you're 1 and 2 because you can take both of you out at the same time. So you don't want contact. You want to avoid that. First time ever, 4 on the course at the same time. Paralympic history.
Course final 2, Liu Yiyang and Noah Elliott go through to the semi-finals. Course final 3, the great Mike Schultz takes to the snow. Well, we'll see that fantastic prosthesis that he's helped design. We can see the shock absorbers working over the bumps as they go. The sunshine is glinting and shining.
Little conversation with the coach there beforehand.
The gate's down and Schultz is out and over, transitioning beautifully over that spine and safely through the Wu-Tang.
That's exactly what you want to do. That's textbook Mike Schultz. He knows, defending gold medals from Pyeongchang. He's not getting any younger, 40 years old, so he's got to battle with, you know, other 40-year-olds in there. You got a 41 from Japan, 42 from Romania, and then Christian from Germany, 33. But Schultz in the number 1 spot right now, defending gold medalist. Just got to stay on your game. Aguri Daichi, the 2-time Paralympian from Japan, in the number 2 spot. That's blue. Christian Schleich from Germany in 3rd right now. Schultz staying nice and solid. Look at, he goes high, dives down low, using that pumping through the rollers, back to the toe edge here. So smooth, good riding out of Mike Schultz. And he's extended that lead. Look at that, doubles up. Nicely done, Schultz.
In the air, stomps it.
The battle, I think, here for 2nd. And that's going to be green.
That is Aguri Daichi of Japan with Mahita Papara of Romania. Finally following down in the yellow. Got held up a little in traffic at the top.
Oh, some Euro carbs. Euro carb action at the bottom.
You might as well finish it in style. I mean, people are abuzz about this guy. He's a beekeeper in his spare time. There's a little honey at the end of the course for you.
See that right there out of Schultz in red, how he just goes up the transition on the Wu-Tang and goes over the top, lands on the bottom transition, the down transition. That just keeps your momentum. And that's how he opened up such a big lead. That start, oh, so important through the Wu-Tang section. And you'll hear us refer to that a lot. Named after a famous Breckenridge kicker, as we call a jump from the 90s. An unpredictable jump, and the Wu-Tang is very unpredictable.
Yeah, we saw problems there for Mihata Papara, but no problems for that man, Mike Schultz. USA, Mike Schultz, Aguri Daichi of Japan. Move on. And Schmeit and Papara bow out. So our final quarterfinal in the SBLL1 class of the men's snowboard cross. Wu of China, Liu of China, and in between Junta Kosuda of Japan. That's the fastest qualifier, Wu Zhongwei. He's in the middle. And he's fast out of the gates at Wu. Clears the spine. and over the top and into the course. But Liu is making a much better push on the outside.
Yeah, I like the way Liu did that. I feel like Wu had the better start through the Wu Tang. But Liu, what he did was he pumped through the rollers to get that spot back. And so now Wu, in red, in second, is going to look for opportunities to try and see if he can get around Liu. So you got China 1 and 2, and you don't want to take each other out. You both want to advance in. And you got Kosuda from Japan in the third spot, but he's not too far behind. Let's see if he can try to play catch up here. Wu nice and solid. Wu definitely had the whole shot, but I like the way Liu did not let that affect him. He used those rollers to his advantage. Look how he dives in, takes that low line for Wu. Nice and solid through that. Here we go. Tries to double up the roller, kind of knuckles it a little bit. Off the jump, pointing it across the line. Wu first, and that's going to point it. Was it blue? It's going to be a photo finish here.
I think that was Liu Kaiyang in the blue, and he thinks it was him.
I think he might have had it, but we're going to have to go to the photo finish on that one. Wu, no doubt about it.
He's going through his mind, how much of a celebration do I pull out at this point? I think it was me. I'll have to see.
So watch the whole shot that we talked about. You can see right there, that was red to get the lead there. That was Wu. But then Liu just said, look, I'm not going to just let you get away with things here.
Wu's very solid and complete as he goes down the course.
See, look at that, how he just bends those knees and tries to absorb that perfect. Good stomp on the landing there.
Bit of knuckle dragging.
Yes. So now it goes to the photo finish. There's Wu, and then...
Oh, it is
green.
actually Kosuda Yunta.
Oh!
By a tip.
Don't celebrate too soon.
So the Chinese parathletes have been split. Wu and Kosuda. Liu Kaiyang. He pulled back on a big celebration, but he thought he had it. But this is how they'll line up for the semi-finals coming up later. Tyler Turner of Canada, Liu of China, Noah Elliott of the USA, and then Chris Voss of the Netherlands in the first semi-final. And it's Wu, Schultz, Oguri, and Kosuda in the second semi-final. They will race 2 more times in the glorious sunshine on day 3 of Beijing 2022.
Gotta love the photo finishes. We've had 2 of them so far.
We'll call one right as well in a moment. We're moving on to the SBLL2 classification in the snowboard cross. And we've got some great riders here as well. Team Unicorn will feature. It's Massey of Canada. Bubs, as he's also known. And it is a beautiful day on the hill. Matti Suhamari of Finland. He is quite some athlete.
Looks like we're just going to have 3 in this one. So a D and S for Laurent Aglica.
So the 2018 Paralympic Winter Games champion in the red is tied with Okomaru Keiji of Japan at this point.
And they're going to keep it close right here. Both of them on their heel edges into this first turn. That's going to be Matti Suhamari in red, the 3-time Paralympian holding down the #1 spot, doubling up right there. Okomaru in green for Team Japan. 40 years old in his Paralympic debut. But Matti Suhamari, 3-time Paralympian, gold, silver across in Pyeongchang, bronze in bank slalom in Pyeongchang, double medals out there, fresh off of gold in Lillehammer earlier in the season, the World Cup. Always expect the Flying Finn to do big things. And just watch his body movement. Everything's calculated, nice and low. Pumps through the section. Matti Suhamari over the jump, stays low. Some hang time.
The sledgehammer nails it.
And that's going to be green. Okomaru
Great performance by Okamaro Keiji. Tabuchi Shinji in the yellow, with a hug for his teammate.
And taking a look at the start here. They kept it nice and tight, solid to the Wu-Tang. The body movements almost mirroring each other at the start. But then Maddie Surhamari does what Maddie Surhamari does and opens up, extends the lead.
The racing will get closer in the semifinals as we've got the faster athletes going head-to-head.
Watch how far he carries this thing, boosting all the way to the bottom blue line. Look how he just carries that. The big man.
Well, he is known as the Sledgehammer, and he did nail that.
It's a proper nickname.
And he is one of the members of Team Unicorn. They were trained by Miko Wendell, who died suddenly a couple of years ago. Miko Wendlin. And he was heartbroken by the loss of his coach and says he is racing for him in Beijing 2022.
Best friend. His best friend. Yeah.
Great to hear. Quarterfinal 2. Ben Tudhope. He's got his Star Wars socks on. He said he's wearing Yoda today. We've got Keith Gable in the green. Ollie Hill of Great Britain in the blue. And it's Tudhope of Australia who's looking to make a move, but it's Keith Gable of the USA in the green who moves out in front.
All pretty tight here through this first bank turn. That's going to be green. Keith Gable for the USA, #1 spot, two-time Paralympian. And that's going to be red. Ben Tudhope, the Aussie, in the #2 spot. USA 1, Aussie 2. So let's see how this plays out. Look how he preloads right there. Keith Gable in green. And he takes a look at Tudhope to see where he's at. If he's going to try and make a move on him, he's going to run and shut the door and stays nice and tight to that blue line. Keith Gable, look at this. Tudhope looking for an opportunity. Gable closing the door. Gable 1, Tudhope 2. Top 2 move on. Good heel work there for both of our riders. Here we go to the final jump. Keith Gable, he's going to go off at first. Keeps him bent all the way down. Gable's going to cross first. Tudhope second.
Ollie Hill just out of it. Matthias Menendez Garcia also missed the cut for the semi-finals. But the force with Ben Tudhope today. Star Wars socks are his thing. And he promised a bit of Yoda today. And with Yoda, of course, there is no try, there is only do. And he did.
I love the style from our competitors. Gable, so solid. Tudhope, so solid. And once again, you don't want to get tangled up. You're already in the 1 and 2 spot. If you start fighting for that #1 spot, you could get some contact and cause you both to go down, which would affect the entire race, and you definitely don't want that. You look at Gable here, just knees bent, absorbing it, solid.
Textbook.
Yeah, both of them, textbook riding skills, the salute.
Mama JP, pop some moves. Love you guys.
Gable and Tudhope into the semi-finals. Just a few shout-outs to back home as we move to quarterfinal 3 already. Alex Massey, he's also part of Team Unicorn, co-trained by Miko Wendell. In the yellow there, Liu Gengliang. In the blue, Owen Pick of Great Britain. And in the green, Ichikawa Takahito of Japan. On the far side, nearest to us, Owen Pick. Had to qualify with his second run. Made a bit of a mess of his first one. We'll be looking to impress by getting through this Wu-Town section quickest, if possible. And it is the Brit who's out in front.
And here we go into that first left bank turn. That's going to be Massey for Canada. #1 spot. It's going to be blue. Owen Pick, Great Britain, holding down #2. You got Canada 1, Great Britain 2. A little shifty there at Owen Pick off that jump in blue. You got a regular foot and a goofy foot going into this first turn. So I always feel like if you have the toe edge into the turn, it kind of gives you that advantage. Dive down low. When you're on that heel edge, it's a little tougher to try and make that pass. But look at this. Ichikawa using the opportunity to put Owen Pick in third now. Massey in 1, Ichikawa 2. Canada 1, Japan 2 here. Here we go. They're going to try and double it up. Massey doubles it up. Off the final jump. It's a charge for second. Massey first. It's a photo finish for the #2 spot.
Well, they're keeping the photographer busy on the snow this morning. Some great racing there. Ichikawa Takahito of Japan.
What Massey did there at the end was doubling up that roller, left no doubt that he was going to get that #1 spot. If you double up the last roller before the final jump, what Massey did, that keeps your momentum forward. It's going to be better than pumping through it. And that's what you want to take advantage of, and he did just that. Let's see how it plays out for Ichikawa and Owen Pick here.
Well, Owen Pick riding goofy there, not really benefiting from his lane draw. But coming stronger at the end.
Just looking for any opportunity. You just got to stay with it.
Smoothly done by Alex Massey. He's definitely first past the post.
Oh, how do you call that?
Well, I think,
Yeah,
it is Ichikawa. So Owen Pick will not progress to the semi-finals of the Snowboard Cross SBLL2. Liu Gengliang also failing to move forward, but 2 more races for Alex Massey and Ichikawa Takahito of Japan. Our final quarterfinal in the Snowboard Cross SBLL2. Garrett Garros of the USA in the red. Song Ki of China in the green on his left. Yi of Korea in the blue. And closest the camera, Zach Miller of the USA. And it's the Americans who climbed the Wu-Tang and are out first.
Well, here we go into that first bank turn now. It's going to really separate the pack here. That's going to be red. Garros in the #1 spot now. Sun Kui in green. He's moved into the #2 spot. The battle now is Lee Jayuk and Zach Miller from the U.S. in yellow. He is in 4th. Right now, Garrett Garros from the USA having his way in the #1 spot, the 22-year-old. Paralympic debut. Carving through the sections. But watch out. The Sun's going to look for an opportunity to try and find an opportunity to get in front of him. Garrett Garros, #1 spot. Sun in the #2 spot. And here we go to the final section. The final jump. Garros. And there you go. Sun Kui going to be #2.
Well, they controlled the race between them and took their destiny into their own. Now, we all want a hug in these times, but there's a time and a place. Garrett Garros with Sun Kui there, Zach Miller in the yellow.
Everybody watch out! This kid's coming in hot!
It's such a family, the snowboard family. All the competitors are such friends, too, as well.
Want to do their best, but they want their teammates to do their best also.
And look at that, all 4 almost in the air at the same time. I really like the way Garros has pumped his way through the section. He's using his body work is on point. Look how he goes through the rollers. And that's a pre-low jump. See, the knees bent, kind of gets a little extended right there, which you've got to be careful when you let those legs drop out from underneath you.
Cool as you like over the line. Garrett Garros of the USA into the last 8 of the LLB in the men's snowboard cross. Two more races to come for him. Just waiting for the confirmation of our semi-finalists. There we go. Sun Qi of China in the green joins him and completes the lineup. Semi-final 1 will see Matti Suhamari of Finland, Todd Hope of Australia, Gable of the USA take on Okamoto of Japan. Then it's Garros, Masi, Ichikawa and Sun in the second of those semi-finals.
Well, some amazing racing action for the first time ever, seeing 4 racers on course at the same time. So exciting to be part of history out here.
Well, we're ready to go with the women's semi-finals of the Snowboard Cross SBLL2. The first 2 in each semi-final going through to the big final. And the 3rd and 4th finishers will go through to the little final. Cecilia Hernandez, actually an LL1 competitor, taking on Lisa de Jong of Canada, Brittany Curry of the USA and Sandrine Hamel. And they're already stacked and racked. And that 3rd place in the racking system at the top seems to be the preferred choice for our fastest riders, because Cecilia Hernandez is in it and she's out in front. She's got the full shot.
That's what you want to do when you get that whole shot, like Cecilia Hernandez is. You just get that lead and you hold it. Lisa de Jong in the number 2 spot in green for Canada. France 1, Canada 2. And that's going to be Brittany Curry from the USA in that 3rd spot, looking for an opportunity back there. And she's going to have to play catch-up. Cecilia Hernandez, the 2-time Paralympian, bronze in Pyeongchang in snowboard cross, and silver in bank slalom. So she is an all-terrain rider, that is for sure. Young trying to use a toe edge right there to maybe help her gain some momentum. You just want to be in the 1 and 2 spot. So right now, Cecilia Hernandez, a commanding lead. Lisa de Jong in green, in 2nd, and followed up by Brittany Curry in blue. Looking for an opportunity for her to try and get back into this race. But she is running out of time. Here we go to the finish area. Cecilia Hernandez airs it out. She lands. Cecilia Hernandez is going to cross first, and that's going to be green. Lisa de Jong 2nd.
And Sandrine Hamel of Canada completes the course. We have our 2 finalists. High five.
Taking a look at the start right there. And they kept it nice and close. But Cecilia Hernandez, give her the opportunity to stay in that lead, and she's going to do it. And you look at de Jong just airing that one out. And de Jong on the toe edge there was maybe thinking I might close the gap a little bit, but not going to happen right there, but still able to come across the line and qualify in.
Cecilia Hernandez into the big final for France alongside Lisa de Jong of Canada. What a great story that would be if Hernandez can pick up a medal after already winning in the courts in her legal battle to compete.
Yeah, love you, Brianna. Good day, tip for the balls. USA.
Brittany Curry and Sandrine Hamel will go through to the little final, the small final.
Love you all. Let's do this, USA on top, North America.
I think she's still got plenty to say, but we've got another semi-final to complete.
Amazing.
Brenna Huckabee and Lisa Bonschotten, potentially the favourites to go through, but Li and Hu of China will have something to say about that. Huckabee in the red, Bonschotten in the green. place in the final of the Paralympic Winter Games at Beijing 2020. As Bunschoten leads away, that Wu-Tang is really testing. You need the speed, but it's left Huckabee right behind.
Yes, indeed, and that's where we talk about that area. The Wu-Tang section can make or break you, and that really worked against Huckabee there. So she is going to be back in that 4th spot, but it's all about the number 1 spot now. Lisa Bunschoten from the Netherlands, 26 years old, 3-time Paralympian, holding down the number 1 spot, the defending silver medalist from Pyeongchang, looking good with the form. And then you got Yanjia from China, the 19-year-old, in that number 2 spot in her Paralympic debut. So Lisa Bunschoten, you knew that she would be good to this, and she's really showing. It shows you the Wu-Tang can be the equalizer, and really affected Brenna Huckabee out of the gate. So here we go as we get towards the bottom with Bunschoten from the Netherlands. Into the final area, the last rollers. Bunschoten getting a little loose, a little speed check there. She's going to cross. Wait a minute. Is Huckabee making a charge? Huckabee, where did she come from? Huckabee in the 2nd spot, came out of nowhere.
Wow, what a run from Brenna Huckabee. Also an LL1 athlete who had to go to court to get permission to compete in the LL2 category. Outstanding performance, but what went wrong?
Well, watch this right here. So Huckabee in red right there, she stalls. And so she has to pump and kind of get herself into it. And then you don't see her in the back. All you see is 1 and 2 at this point, and you're not knowing where she's at. And she was still in 4th at that point. You just have to stay with it. And there, she used the toe edge to get that pass. That's what she did right there. That was key. It's not over until it's over.
Bunschoten just did what she needed to do out front, but Huckabee, what a class act. Into the final.
And to start out that bad off the bat, that's not easy to do, to be able to come back from that.
And my husband.
Huckabee and Bunschoten go through to the big final. They'll take on Hernandez and De Jong. We've got 2 LL1 competitors in the SBUL2 Snowboard Cross women's final. Hamel, Curry and Lee and Hu will contest the small final. To the men's snowboard cross SBUL, Zhu, G, Lucchini and Barnes-Miller looking to book their place in the big final. Just 2. Room for 2. And I think we've just got 3 at the start at the moment. I'm waiting for a yellow bid to appear. Oh, there we go. James Barnes-Miller giving people back in the UK a bit of a fright, but what a start from JBM.
JBM having the lead here. Now he's going to be on a heel edge where we have a little bit of contact here. That's going to be blue. Jacopo Lucchini is going to be pushed into the number 4 spot. Now the battle is for 1, 2, and 3. That's going to be yellow. James Barnes-Miller, he's going to use the toe edge here. Look at that. It's unintentional contact. That is okay. Look at them, all 3. There's only going to be room for it. They're going to battle it out. And so red and green, Barnes-Miller goes down. Zhu Yonggang from China in the number 1 spot. Ji Lijia from China also in the number 2 spot. They're 1 and 2. He's going to let him move into that number 1 spot. Some teamwork going on here. It'll be interesting about the contact up top. And they'll come across the line, number 1 and number 2.
Plenty of whooping and hollering there for the Chinese on the course as well as further down the course. But James Barnes-Miller washed out, went down. The jury may take a look at that. We'll wait for the confirmation of that.
It goes into a situation, is it intentional contact or unintentional contact? And it looks like a protest out of James Barnes-Miller. Let's take a look at the start here.
Great start by the Brit.
And so what the jury will do is they'll take a look and just see, is it intentional or is the contact unintentional?
And it's not as clear-cut as some other sports where if you've got right-of-way, you can own the road. Someone has... that's just beautiful shots of how you finish a race.
It'll be interesting to see what is determined here, if there's any change here.
Ji Jia and Zhu Yongjiang
You can see
of China.
Run under review. So they will take a look at all the angles, the judges, to make sure it was unintentional or determine if it was intentional.
Well, there's plenty of stake here. 2 places in the big final. James Barnes-Miller shaking his head there. The others will go through to the small final, and that's him washing out.
It's going to be tough to call to overturn that, but it is in the judges' hands here. Let's see what they say.
A nervous wait in the glorious sunshine.
From the angle we are looking at here, it did not look like that was intentional, but they'll look at it from different angles.
China becoming a powerhouse in snow sports. Entered their first snowboard athletes at Pyeongchang in 2018. Sung Ki and Li Genliang finishing 11th and 14th respectively. And we've got 14 Chinese men competing in the snowboard field of 61.
So here's another look.
There's a little upper body contact as well, potentially.
James Barnes-Miller was outside that blue line, so we'll see if that is the determination on that.
That's what he thinks. But yeah, that's 23% of the field is made up of Chinese snowboarders.
Serbian,
which is quite a turnaround.
Their Serbian coach, Jurica Stankovic, their international coach. People's Republic of China has been doing some amazing stuff with them. It's a PGS, former parallel giant slalom athlete.
Beijing was awarded the Paralympic Winter Games in...
it looks like they've
yep,
made the call.
It stands, so Ji and Zhu, a Chinese 1-2 into the big final. And that's the little final for Barnes-Miller, which is not what he intended at all. We have 3 more athletes. It could be 4 Chinese athletes in the final. Wang, Zhang, Jiang, and Owane of Japan looking to break the Chinese stranglehold on the big final. What can he do?
Riders into the gates. Riders ready. Attention.
And the gate is down, and they are riding down. Wang is way out in front.
Yeah, Wang's doing his thing now in the #1 spot. Look at blue, though. Zhang Xiao from China trying to get in that spot, too, as well. That's yellow. Owane Natsaka in the 4th spot. China 1, 2, and 3 here. But Owane now moving into the #3 spot. Oh, and Owane goes down. And by going down right there, that is a place you don't want to go down. It's so slow to get started from right there. Wang in that #1 spot. Nice, good line on the inside in red. That's going to be green. Zhang in the #2 spot, the 17-year-old. Paralympic debut. All 3 of these, 2 of the riders here. It's going to be red, going to cross, and green.
So Wang ahead of Zhang, and we are guaranteed gold, silver and bronze for China in the men's snowboard cross SBUL semi-finals, because the big final is made up entirely of Chinese athletes. What a turnaround in 4 years.
Well, they've really been putting the work in the offseason, that's for sure. Let's take a look here at the start. It looked like Owani just even a little trouble off the beginning, so that put him in that 4th spot. Then he had the opportunity, and he moved himself into 3rd. And I think this is the jump where he just gets, he gets shiftied in the air, reverts, brings it back around. And when you fall in that area, you're not going to be getting back into it. And then the 3 Chinese athletes are knowing don't affect each other. But you're still trying to find a spot to get in. And when you have that edge, when you have that last turn and you're on your toe edge, it does give you the advantage. Now, there's equal amount of turns for both sides. So no matter if you're a regular foot or a goofy foot, you all have the same opportunities.
Absolute joy there for Zhang. And that's really going to give the home crowd something to cheer about. Wang Pengyou ahead of Zhang Yi-Qi will join their countrymen in the big final. The rest progressing to the small final. So, Zhu, Wang, Ji, Zhang. Guaranteed lockout of the podium for China in the men's snowboard cross SBUL. To the SBLL1 men's snowboard cross, Tyler Turner, Lu Liang, Noah Elliott and Chris Voss will go in the first semi-final. Turner in the red bib, starting furthest from the camera. Just inside him will be Liu of China in the green. And it's Noah Elliott in the blue and Voss in the yellow of the Netherlands. The gates are down, the riders are out, and they're into the Wu-Tang. And another good start by Noah Elliott of the USA.
Once again, the Wu-Tang start for Noah Elliott, as you bring up, is an important one because he uses the transition to his advantage. But look at the Tyler Turner. He's a tough one because he had one of the fastest time. That's why he's wearing that red bib. And he's going to take over that #1 spot, even though Noah Elliott got the whole shot. So you got Tyler Turner for Canada, #1. Noah Elliott in blue, Team USA, in the #2 spot. And the battle for 3 and 4 is going on. A little bit of contact there between Chris Voss, Netherlands in yellow, Liu Yang from China in green. But no doubt about it, Tyler Turner, fastest time of qualification, Paralympic debut, gold in snowboard cross in Lillehammer, gold in snowboard team cross in Lillehammer, and bronze in bank slalom. He is an all-terrain rider, and he's going to cross easily in the #1 spot. And green goes down. That opened the door for Voss to come across.
Yeah, Liu Yang was making a push for the line, but it is the Netherlands' Chris Voss, a silver medalist 4 years ago. He'll have a chance to add some more heavy metal to his collection.
And you look at the start. Noah Elliott was solid, but Turner, he's going to catch up at some point, and he's going to use an opportunity. And if Tyler Turner gets the lead, he's going to be tough to be able to knock out of that spot. And so then the race became 2, 3, and 4. And Noah Elliott got passed up. Look at that, just relaxed body movement, just perfect at everything he does. You don't want to get too much air. It lands nice and low and keeps it going.
Tyler Turner. Chris Voss of the Netherlands joins him in the big final. We'll have 4 competing for 3 medals.
Julian, Mom, come River, Merville.
Sounds a little tired. Still got work to do though. Men's snowboard cross SBLL1. The second semi-final, just 2 places left. Mike Schultz of the USA. In green, it is Wu Zhongwei of China. 26-year-old in the red. Oguri and Kasuda of Japan. Also in the field. It's a face-off between the green and the red.
Now it is off to this first turn. Schultz going to try and see if he can get the lead here. Oh, a little bit of contact there between Schultz and Oguri. And Schultz is going to open up a little bit of a lead here. Kosuda from Japan in the number 2 spot, with Wu from China in yellow in 3. So Wu's going to look for an opportunity, and Schultz is going to have to do his thing and stay tight here. But it is very close. Schultz having the edge on the toe edge there. That's going to help him out to keep that lead. So Schultz in the green right now, Wu in the red. So you got Schultz 1, Wu 2. Schultz going to keep it going here. Doubles up the roller. That's going to keep the lead for him. Schultz is going to set it down, and Wu is going to come across to the number 2 spot.
Well, Schultz took the whole shots and stayed full frame all the way down the course to book his place in the big final.
Yeah.
That's what he thinks. And Wu was pretty quick out of the Wu-Tang section. Facing off with Mike Schultz, though.
And look at that, just a tiny bit of contact there, but that's...
Yeah, Guri Daicha in the blue.
And then what he does here, I like what Schultz does towards the end of that, is where he doubles up the roller before the final kicker. That really helps him keep the speed and keep that lead. Rolling down the windows a little bit, but sets down the landing gear on that bottom line, so he carries that thing all the way across. And Wu coming close to getting him there at the end.
Yeah, it's a racing.
We confirm the result. USA's Mike Schultz fastest first, with China's Wu Zhongwei in second. Keeping up the impressive performance by the host nation in the snowboard cross. The big final, Tyler Turner will take on Wu of China, Mike Schultz of the USA, and Chris Voss of the Netherlands. With the others progressing to the small final. Snowboard cross, SBUL2. Should be some great racing coming up in this one. Matti Suohamari of Finland. The 35-year-old, the fastest in the first of the semi-finals, taking on Ben Tudhope of Australia, Keith Gable of the USA, and Okamoto Kaiji of Japan in the yellow. Suohamari in that third trap.
Yeah, man. Riders, stick to the gates.
Great shot.
Riders, ready? Attention.
So that's Tudhope in the green. In the blue, we have Keith Gable, but it's Okamoto Kaiji who's quickest out of the gate before Gable stomped himself at the front there.
Keith Gable in the number 1 spot now. The battle is for that 2 and 3 spot. Matti Suohamari in red. He's going to move into the second, but he's going to try and look for an opportunity to get in the number 1 spot. And he's going to do it right here. So Matti Suohamari preloading on that jump, setting it down. Keith Gable got a little mixed up there. And he's going to give it to Ben Tudhope from Australia. They're going to move into the number 2 spot. So Matti Suohamari in red in the number 1 spot. Ben Tudhope, Australia, in green in the number 2 spot. Keith Gable from the USA in 3 now. So Matti Suohamari always calculated on when he's going to find that opportunity. To the final jump here. Matti Suohamari, he's down first. Here comes green. That's going to be Tudhope second.
That's 1-2 for Team Unicorn. They trained together in Finland. Suhamari, Ben Tudhope, and the Canadian Alex Massey as well. And there'll be two representatives of Team Unicorn in the big final of the LL2. Textbook racing.
Indeed, and you know, Matti Suhamari, you look at how he battled from that third spot, and then he takes one rider out, one at a time, focus on it, look for your opportunities, and he does just that. Look at the preload. So solid. That just keeps him from getting too much air, and you saw Gable get a little mixed up on that landing, had a little bit of a bobble there, and that was what was going to end him up in that third spot. Look at the preload, keeping the knees bent. Look at that. Legs do not straighten out at all. That is what you want to do, just like that. Matti Suhamari continuing his winning ways for the sledgehammer.
Yeah, the Finn enjoying the ride. It's almost rehearsed. Matti Suhamari of Finland, Ben Tudhope of Australia. And who will be joining them? Garrett Garros of the USA, Alex Massey, third member of Team Unicorn. He'd like to be there. Ichikawa Takehito and Sun Qi of China in the yellow, right next to Garrett Garros there in the red. The Canadian is in the green. Ichikawa Takehito in blue, closest to the camera.
That second Wu-Tang section, that's going to be green right there. Alex Massey, the #1 spot. Garros from the USA. Oh, and a collision between Garros and Ichikawa, green and blue. Sun Qi from China will take advantage of that, hold on to #2. But Alex Massey getting a little shifty in the air on that one. Massey holding out a huge lead right now. Alex Massey in green for Team Canada, two-time Paralympian. Oh, reverts around, getting a little fun there. What was that all about? I'm not sure what happened there, but that opened the door for Sun Qi to come back in there. And Massey better watch out because he's got a couple other riders coming up from behind him. Sun Qi. Garros in the red for the USA. And what happened to Massey? He has a revert in the middle of that run in green, and that cost him all of his speed. He had to hop it back around to a 180. I'm not sure what happened there.
Well, to finish first you have to finish, and something didn't go to plan for the Canadian there. Absolute joy there for Garrett Garros. Oh, the emotion. Sun Qi of China in the yellow, Garrett Garros in the red. It looked like they were out of it, but it's not over in snowboard cross, even if you have a collision and go down.
Oh, that's what happened. He just looks like he just got caught on his little edge, and it spun him around. His momentum was going to the other direction, so what we call that as a revert. It's an unintentional 180 on your snowboard. He didn't want to do that because that cost him all the speed. And with the snow conditions, too, being a little softer, there's more slough out there. There's more snow to deal with it. And it just caught his edge, spun him around, and it cost him a shot right there.
We haven't spoken about the conditions because it is warm out there. It's really very spring-like in Beijing. Spring skiing, as we wait for the confirmation of the finish. Oh. Yeah, the emotion.
Yeah, Massey deflated after that.
I think he was planning his big final.
It's never over till it's over, that's for sure.
Matti Suhamari, Garrett Garros, Ben Tudhope and Sun Qi will be going for gold, silver and bronze in the men's snowboard cross SBLL2. So we have the small final of the women's snowboard cross SBLL2. Brittany Curry Li Tiantian, Canada's Sandrine Hamel, and China's Hu Nianjia. Curry in the red, Li of China in the green, and she gets to the top of the Wutan section first.
And here we go, the battle for 5, 6, 7, and 8 here in the small final. And it looks like green is going to have the edge. Li Tiantian in the #1 spot now. The battle now is for that #2 spot, and that's going to be Brittany Curry in red. Brittany Curry in red, looking for an opportunity to get back in the #1 spot. Here we go. Brittany Curry has moved in the #1. That's going to put Li in the #2 spot now, with yellow Hu in the #3 spot. The battle for 5, 6, 7, and 8 valuable World Cup points on the line here. Brittany Curry solid in the lead. Tiantian trying to find the possibility to get close to Curry here. Curry drops down low, keeps it close to that blue line. Got to be solid now. Just focus on what the task at hand is. The final roller section, Brittany Curry looking good, lands it solid. Brittany Curry is going to cross first, and that's going to be green, crossing second.
Li Tiantian of China banking her valuable World Cup points. In 6th overall of the competition, 3rd in the second in the small final. Hu Nianji, 7th overall, and Sandrine Hamel of Canada completing the race in 4th place and picking up 8th place in the overall standings of the women's snowboard cross.
They look good through the start of this. They all kept it nice and close. Maybe wondering, you know, you're battling for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. It's not battling for a medal, but it's very important on your World Cup standings. So you still want to fight for that #1 spot here in the small final.
The conditions changing as well because of the warm temperatures. So we're blowing hot and cold down the course.
And that's one of the things, too. This has been completely different than the competition we saw during the Olympic Games, where the temperatures were very cold. The conditions were what we call bulletproof almost, really hard snow. And when it's slushy, it's like spring-style skiing.
Let's go big final. Come on, Brenna. Let's go, Brenna. Let's go, Lisa. Yeah. Love you all.
She is the spokesperson, that's for sure.
Well, what a story we have in the women's snowboard cross SBLL2 big final. Cecile Hernandez and Brenna Huckerby had to go to court for their right to compete at Beijing 2022.
Such a good story between them.
32-year-old Lisa Dion of Canada will start in the yellow bib, alongside Brenna Huckerby, an LL1 competitor, 26 years old, was in danger of not being able to compete, but takes to the start line in the big final at the Paralympic Winter Games alongside Cecile Hernandez. They were united in their battle, the 47-year-old French woman, with her eye on the top prize. But Lisa Bunschoten, double Paralympic Winter Games medalist, the 26-year-old from the Netherlands, mentored by the great Bibian Mentel-Spee, will have something to say in this big final of the SBLL2. Uniform start down to the first climb up the Wutan section, but it is Hernandez out in front.
And the 47-year-old Cecile Hernandez, the two-time Paralympian, going to extend that lead, holding on to the #1 spot. Now the battle is between the silver and the bronze now. That's yellow, Lisa de Jong, and her Paralympic debut in yellow. In second, and that's Lisa Bunschoten from the Netherlands. In that 3rd spot, Brenna Huckerby making a charge in green. Oh, and connection between the two. That's green and blue. So the battle for bronze is going to be between those two. But right now, Cecile Hernandez is focusing on trying to claim the gold here. Cecile Hernandez in the lead for the gold. And that's going to be yellow. Lisa de Jong, Paralympic debut for her, sitting in a silver medal spot. And blue, Lisa Bunschoten is going to be off course. So Brenna Huckabee should be able to grab this, but here we go. Let's talk about this one. Here's for the gold right now. Cecile Hernandez puts it down. Gold medal is going to be hers. The silver medal, Lisa de Jong, but still the bronze is yet to be determined. Brenna Huckabee now to the final roller. Huckabee for the USA. No mistakes, she's going to cross. There is your bronze.
What a story in the women's snowboard cross, SBLL2. Cecile Hernandez, 47 years old, from France. Having to go to court for the right to compete, the only gold medal available to women at Beijing 2022 in the snowboard category. And the Frenchwoman took the whole shot and stayed full frame down the course.
It was the contact that we need to take a look at too. Yeah, they just got, and then what happens with Bunschoten, when she goes off course, there's nothing she could do. So she will get a DNF by going around. It wasn't able to get back on the course. And that's an area you don't want to fall in because it is so slow to get started again. It gets a little sideways there. And the emotions for Cecile Hernandez.
It's not just the preparation that she's put into her snowboarding. It's the battle she's been fighting to get to Beijing 2022.
Here we go.
That make it so remarkable. The run is under review. Absolute desolation for Lisa Bunschoten over there on the left. She will go again in the banked slalom, but you can see how disconsolate she is.
This will be interesting on how this will work, because Bunschoten with a did not finish, and then if Huckabee gets disqualified, then that should go to the 5th place winner, Brittany Curry, from the small final, the bronze, if that is determined that was intentional.
Well, Goofy and Regular can come into contact quite...
Because you can't see each other. Your backs are to each other. So you can't see the contact right there.
They're both in the same pocket of air.
Yeah, that's one of the things in snowboarding. If you're regular foot, goofy foot, sometimes you end up back to back and you can't see what the other competitor's doing.
Well, Cecile Hernandez can't believe it. She wants to celebrate, but she can feel the pain of Lisa Bunschoten on the left as we look at the picture in the blue bib, hugging her snowboard and just wants to be somewhere else at this point in time.
Judges have to take a look at it. It just comes down to basically, is it intentional or is it unintentional? If it's unintentional, then the standings will go. But with Lisa Bunschoten going off course and not finishing, she would not be able to claim a bronze medal here, even if it was determined.
There's not a lot of comfort that Lisa Bunschoten can take at this point as we see the confirmation of gold, silver and bronze. Yep. Gold to Cecile Hernandez of France. Lisa de Jong of Canada takes the silver medal, and Brenna Huckabee the bronze for the USA in the women's snowboard cross, SBLL2.
It's the right call right there. It was in the air. It's hard to control in the air. You don't see each other, so good call by the judges on this one.
And Huckabee and Hernandez, the two athletes in the LL1 category who were denied the chance to go for gold in their own class, steps it up, and they come away with the goods.
Can't script it better than a Hollywood movie.
There's a lot going on there. Lisa de Jong of Canada. We'll have a recognition ceremony on the slopes before they get their medals.
Love you. This is my friend Lisa. She's cool.
think we noticed that. And Von Schotten absolutely disconsolate.
Recognition ceremony coming up shortly. After that, small final for men's UL, and then men's big final. Lots more action.
Heart is a balloon, shoots up through the stony ground. There's no room.
Well, the glorious fanfare as we prepare for the recognition ceremony for the riders in the women's snowboard cross. SB, a short fanfare. We have our medalists in position. What a race. It's been quite a journey for Cecile Hernandez, 47-year-old from France, and the bronze medalist Brenna Huckabee of the USA. It's not even their category.
Here they come. Big day of racing for our riders out here. It's time to be recognized for their accomplishments.
Bronze medalist, representing the United States of America.
获得铜牌的是美国运动员
Brenna Huckabee.
The USA's Brenna Huckabee, smiling in joy and realizing she needs to come forward to be lauded by the spectators at the Janjico Genting Snow Park. A bronze medal for her.
Silver medalist, representing Canada.
获得银牌的是加拿大运动员
Lisa De Jong.
Well, Lisa De Jong coming home in the silver medal position. A radiant smile. Paralympic Winter Games silver medalist in the snowboard cross, SBL2, LL2.
Gold medalist and Paralympic champion representing France.
获得金牌 和残奥冠军的是法国运动员
Cecile Hernandez.
Cecile Hernandez is absolutely emotional. There is so many tears waiting to pour there. She's fought so hard to get to the top of this podium, to get to the start line in this competition. And she is the Paralympic Winter Games champion.
Beijing 2022 Paralympic Winter Games medalists.
女士们、先生们，请向北京2022年冬残奥会获奖运动员表示热烈的祝贺。
An amazing day. Brenna Huckabee, two-time Paralympian. Bronze medal for her Paralympic debut. Steong, silver. Cecile Hernandez, the golden girl, two-time Paralympian with the gold.
The men's snowboard cross SBUL for riders with impairments to their upper limbs. And this is the small final. Valuable World Cup ranking places and points on offer. And they're underway. James Barnes-Miller determined to make the most of a disappointing semi-final. He's going to be desperate to try and pick up all the points he can in this small final.
Into the first turn and out of the first turn. That's going to be red. Lucchini, the Italian, in the #1 spot. James Barnes-Miller in the #2 spot, but that's blue. Zhang Xiao from China trying to find an opportunity. They're all pretty close here. Some separation. Looks like yellow's going to sit down. Owani Masataka from Japan. And it's going to be pretty hard to play catch up from that point. Lucchini in the #1 spot for the Italian. The battle, a little contact between blue and green right there. Lucchini #1. And Zhang from China, they get mixed up. And look at the opportunity for James Barnes-Miller, JBM off the final jump here. He's just got to hold it together for that 5th spot. He's going to do it. 5th place. 6th for Lucchini. 7th for Zhang Xiao from China. Owani Masataka from Japan in the 8th spot. Those World Cup points.
And the overall standings, 5th, 6th and 7th. So 5th for James Barnes-Miller in the overall standings. First in the small final, Lucchini. Then Zhang Xiao and Owani of Japan, finishing 8th in the overall rankings.
And it looked very close through the start. They all stayed pretty close. Look at all 4 of them pumping through the rollers, trying to stay low off the jumps, keep that momentum forward, a little preload on the jumps. And that was where, this is where it is for Owani. Look, he goes right to the heel and just washes out. And in that spot where you wash out, there is no speed to be had to get back into it. And James, look at him, just looking for an opportunity. James having the advantage here on a toe edge to try to just get back in it, but they got a little connected there. And that's cost him the speed and opened the door for James Barnes-Miller. Stay nice and low. Look at the tuck knee. Boom. Landing gear down. That's exactly how you want to land it.
Well, it's not the final he was hoping to be competing in. The big final will guarantee history is made in para snowboard at the Paralympic Winter Games.
So under review, taking a look at it. But it looks like it's going to be official, like a referee's whistle on this point now.
The big final of the men's snowboard cross, SBUL. And China are guaranteed to dominate the podium. Zhu Yongjiang, the fastest of the qualifiers. He'll be wearing the red bib, but that is Zhang Yiqi, just 17 years old. Just trying to calm those nerves as he stands on the start line of a Paralympic Winter Games final. 19-year-old Zhu Yongjiang, fastest into this final, choosing to race in the second lane. That's Wan Peng Yo. He's just 21 years old. And which of these Chinese athletes will be coming home with the gold medal? Ji Lijia. He was the in-form athlete before the pandemic struck. And the Chinese program of pushing para-snowboard is paying off with 4 representatives in the big final. And into the Wu-Tang, they're pretty evenly spread. The only guarantee is there will be 3 Chinese.
Oh, and already contact right there. That's going to open it for blue and green. Xi in blue, Wang in green. So Xi from China, 19-year-old Paralympic debut, says the harder you work, the luckier you will be. And he finds himself in a good spot, in the #1 spot. He's going to go on a heel edge here. Wang in green, looking for an opportunity. Trying to dive down to the inside. Xi in blue, holding him back. Keeping it tight. I like the way Wang's approach here. He's still trying to find an opportunity, but it's going to be too hard to catch up now. Let's see how it doubles up. I love the way Xi does that. He doubles up. Gets a grab in there. Crosses the line first. Green second. And the battle for the bronze. That's going to be red. Zhu Yongjiang, the bronze.
That was a power pose by Wan Peng Yo, silver medalist at the Paralympic Winter Games. For China, the People's Republic of China, are dominating the snowboard cross.
And you look at their technique, all of them almost in unison, the way they go into it. You can tell the coaching has paid off, but then they got tangled up. It was just a little edge contact, it looks like, with Wang in green. And that put Zhu and Zhang out of the mix here for a little while. And they just wanted to stay apart right now. They did not want to affect each other on the outcome. They knew they were gold and silver. And it seemed like Wang was like, I'm not going to get connected to you. Well, it looked like he reached down for the grab, but no, it just kind of tweaks it out. And he'll cross the line with the gold. Wang Peng Yao, the silver. And Zhu Yongjiang, the bronze.
More at stake than tricks on this run down the slope at the Zhangjiakou Genting Snow Park. And a sea of red and yellow stars. So the run is under review at the moment. But what a crop of young talent from the People's Republic of China. 2 snowboarders in Pyeongchang in 2018.
Let's take a look here now. So all 3 It's really hard to find intentional contact between them. They all look like they were all three neck and neck looking for the same line. So I would think that's going to stand, but it is under review at this point. The one thing is not under review is it will still be bronze, silver, and gold. The People's Republic of China.
The first ever Paralympic Winter Games snowboard medals for the People's Republic of China. And their names will be etched in the history books.
The quote I love from Li Jia said, "The harder you work, the luckier you will be." And he finds himself with a gold medal, and I don't think that's luck.
Top of the podium, gold medal, Li Jia, China's first snowboarding Paralympic Winter Games gold medalist. First silver medal for Wang Pengyou, and the bronze for Zhu Yonggang.
Well, hard work pays off. Their coach, Jurka Stankovic, their international coach from Serbia, has done great work with this team. The technique is impeccable. And the rest of the world is going to have to play catch up.
Wang Pengyou. He looks pretty pleased to have that silver medal. Let's get these photograph opportunities sorted out here. And when China was awarded the 2015 Beijing Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games, a program was put in place to talent spot athletes and to bring them on in the winter sports, and China has become a force to be reckoned with.
Future looks bright. They're all quite young too.
We have the recognition ceremony for the men's snowboard cross SBUL. China have announced themselves on the world stage in para snowboard and in some style in the men's snowboard cross SBUL classification. A clean sweep of the podium with 4 Chinese riders in the final. 4th place, Zhang Yiqi, disqualified though, which means that James Barnes-Miller of Great Britain will finish 4th in the standings.
Bronze medalist representing China， 获得铜牌的是中国运动员朱永刚。
Zhu Yonggang, who was invited to try out for Para-Winter Sports. His mum and dad initially reluctant because they thought he might get injured if he engaged in the sport. But it's brought him a bronze medal.
Silver medalist representing China， 获得银牌的是中国运动员王鹏耀。
And what a result for Wang Peng Yao. Silver medal for the People's Republic of China. He also was brought in by invitation to try out for Para-Winter Sports. What a program that's turned out to be.
Gold medalist and Paralympic champion representing China. 获得金牌和残奥冠军的是中国运动员季丽佳。
19-year-old Ji Lijia, curious about para-snowboarding and fell in love with it. After only a couple of runs down the slopes, his goal was to win gold at the 2022 Paralympic Winter Games.
Ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation for the Beijing 2022 Paralympic Winter Games medalists. 女士们、先生们，请向北京2022年冬残奥会获奖运动员表示热烈的祝贺。
And Ji Lijia's final or next target at the grand old age of 19 is to become a coach of able-bodied, as is the phrase he's used, to coach other snowboarders. And I think as a gold medalist at the Paralympic Winter Games, there's going to be a long queue of people wanting to learn the sport from him. The last 8 positions in the men's snowboard cross SBUL1 competition to be decided. The small final. In blue on the left there, we've got Oguri Daichi of Japan and Li Liang in the red. Having a chat with Noah Elliott of the USA. But they're ready to get out of the gates. Move on through the Wu-Tang, up and over, and it is Elliott again with a fast start. He's a quick starter, the rider from the USA.
Yes, indeed. So Noah Elliott, 2-time Paralympian, 24 years old, gold in bank slalom and Pyeongchang, bronze in snowboard cross. And he's got the lead. He's going to take the #1 spot. Oguri Daichi from Japan, 41-year-old, 2-time Paralympian in that #2 spot. Then you got yellow. That's going to be Kosuda Junta from Japan in his Paralympic debut, holding down 3. Liu Yang from China, trying to see if he can find a spot in there. And they both get mixed up. That's going to be red and yellow. So Liu Yang in red and Kosuda Junta from Japan get tangled up. And look at this. Oguri Daichi now. He's got the lead. Noah Elliott in the 2nd spot. This is for 5, 6, 7, and 8. Oguri is going to cross first. He's going to take 5th. Noah Elliott is going to grab that 6th spot. Liu Yang in red. He gets the grab, puts it down, and he'll grab himself 7th spot.
No marks for styling it out over the line. Just the appreciation of the spectators. And Kosuda Junta just taking it slowly down.
Now you got to think that they're going to most likely have to take a look at this one and see how that contact happened. Was it intentional? Was it unintentional?
The world ranking points are important. Oh. And over the line for Kosuda Junta of Japan. 8th place at the Paralympic Winter Games of Beijing 2022.
So you look at the start here, everything looks pretty solid. No problems there. Very good start from Noah Elliott. He had the lead. But Oguri was just looking for opportunities that whole entire race to find a spot to get back in front of him. And you can see that, keeping that low trajectory. And on the toe edge there, Noah Elliott. And then the opportunity, pumping nicely, was Oguri Piachi. And there was the tangle up between red and yellow. Liu Yang and Kasuda Junta. But very solid off the jumps for both of our first two competitors. And Noah's trying to make a charge right there at the end to try and get that fifth spot back.
And we can confirm the standings. Oguri Daishi of Japan first in the small final. Noah Elliott second, with Lu Liang of China and Kasuda Junta picking up effectively 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. To the big final of the men's snowboard cross, SBLL1. Tyler Turner in the red bib, starts on the far side, but it is Chris Vos of the Netherlands, silver medalist in Pyeongchang 4 years ago. In the yellow, Mike Schultz, pioneer of prosthetic technology and helping out so many riders on the slopes. Wu Zhongwei, 26-year-old from China, has just seen the podium locked out by his countryman. And Tyler Turner, the 33-year-old from Canada, ready to go. The skies are blue, the snow's white. They're ready for the ride of their lives. And safely over the first spine of the Wu-Tang.
And here we go. Keep your eye on Tyler Turner in red for Team Canada. He's going to go out to the lead. That's going to be Wu Zhongwei from China in green in that second spot. Mike Schultz in blue, looking for an opportunity for Team USA in the number 3 spot, looking for the bronze medal. Tyler Turner is off to the races. He's going to be tough. Is the battle going to be for silver and bronze? Because Tyler Turner is going to be tough to catch at this point. And that's going to be green. Wu Zhongwei. And look at the tangle up right here. We're getting between our competitors. Tyler Turner, no one's challenging him for the number 1 spot. And Mike Schultz has moved into a silver medal position now. Schultz for Team USA sitting in the silver. Tyler Turner running away with the lead here. So the gold can be his. He looks back to see where the competitors are. They're nowhere near. He's just got to focus on the task at hand. So Tyler Turner to the final jump for Canada. Tyler Turner, landing gear down. He grabs the gold. The silver goes to Schultz. And Wu Zhongwei from China with the bronze.
What a race. Absolutely dominated by Tyler Turner from the top. And there were some risky moments as the rest of the field came together, but this man nailed it.
Well, you take a look at the start, and you don't want to give the start to Tyler Turner because he is so fast, one of the fastest in the qualifying time. And once he gets in the lead, he's just going to run his race all the way through. And then the battle becomes for the silver and for the bronze. And that's the battle that was really the one to watch here between 2 and 3. It was between Schultz and Zhongwei. Wu was doing everything he could to try and hold that number 2 spot to grab that silver. And you had Chris Vos right there, where Chris Vos was really trying to get back in. And Schultz gets bumped back down, but he's able to stay with it. Here it is. So you think Schultz at this point is out of it, but those two got tangled up. Schultz used the inside line to take advantage of that and come away with that silver medal for Team USA. But there was no stopping the unstoppable Tyler Turner as he sets down the landing gear, and he's got one thing in his mind: I'm going to grab the gold, and he does just that.
It's the one time he actually wants to get out of the air quickly because he is training to be a wingsuit pilot and wants to stay up in the air as long as possible when he's using that. He's a full-time skydiving instructor, airborne photographer.
What's up?
So this one is under review.
Mom, Dad, fam, what's up? Not a bad day.
And Tyler Turner, he'll be grabbing the gold no matter what, even though this is under review. And Schultz, yeah, will grab the silver. And Wu Zhangwei, the bronze.
Not a bad day, says Mike Schultz of the USA. In the blue, a silver medal. And a lot of love for his board. Tyler Turner. He was the inform parathlete coming into this. He's the top Paralympian on the slopes.
Awesome day here.
Silver for Mike Schultz.
Guys for many years. Tyler. Awesome.
He's interviewing himself. We like it. Wu Zhongwei. That's another snowboard medal for the People's Republic of China. And before Beijing, they had none.
Lauren, your daughter, 8 years of age, designing great parts for BioDAP, the company high-impact adaptive sports prosthetics. Hundreds of them using the goods, really helping out what the industry is all about. Thank you, sir, for your dedication and commitment to para snowboard cross. Please stick with us.
And the chairlift taking the riders to the top of the hill as we wait for the recognition ceremony for the men's snowboard cross SBLL 1.
Hello， 志愿者的小可爱们，你们好。
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Beijing 2022 Paralympic Winter Games medalists from the Paris Snowboard Men's Cross LL1 competition.
女士们、先生们，请欢迎北京2022年冬残奥会残奥单板滑雪男子障碍追逐 LL 1级项目的获奖运动员入场。
What a performance. And what a great Paralympic Winter Games final in the Snowboard Cross SBLL1. Legends of the sport will be taking to the podium. Top spot for Tyler Turner of Canada. Stars and stripes around the shoulders of Mike Schultz. And 26-year-old Wu Zhongwei of China, adding to their ever-growing winter sport collection of Paralympic medals.
Bronze medalist representing China. 获得铜牌的是中国运动员武宗伟。
Wu Zhongwei switched from cycling to snowboarding after being scouted. Had been competing at the National Games for persons with disabilities in the People's Republic of China. I think he's pretty pleased that he made the switch to the snow.
Silver medalist representing the United States of America. 获得银牌的是美国运动员 Mike Schultz.
Such a great athlete and a great technician in pushing forward the technical side of para-snowboarding. His Versafoot and Moto knee proving very popular with his fellow competitors.
Gold medalist and Paralympic champion representing Canada. 获得金牌和残奥冠军的是加拿大运动员 Tyler Turner.
Former professional snowcross rider. He's won gold medals across the globe, but none will feel as great as his Paralympic Winter Games gold medal in the Snowboard Cross SBL1.
Ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation for the Beijing 2022 Paralympic Winter Games medalists. 女士们、先生们，请向北京2022年冬残奥会获奖运动员表示热烈的祝贺。
So the recognition ceremony, a chance for teammates, course workers to honour the competitors who have been focused on the quarterfinals, the semi-finals in the glorious snow of the Zhangjiakou Genting Snow Park. There will be a medal ceremony later on, but for now, it's a chance to pick up Shui Ronron, the Lantern Child mascot of the Paralympic Winter Games of Beijing 2020.
Yeah! Good stuff, gentlemen. Good stuff. Let's get back up to the stage.
The men's snowboard cross SBLL2 small final. Alex Massey of Canada will take on the USA's Keith Gable, Ichikawa Takahito of Japan, and Okamoto Kaiji of Japan. All looking to confirm 5th, 6th, 7th or 8th place finishes at the Paralympic Winter Games. Massey in the red, blue for Ichikawa, closest to us. And it is Grable in the green, who is out in front.
And here we go into that first left-hand turn. Yes, Gable has done it right there. Opened up a nice lead in the #1 spot. Now the battle is between 2 and 3. A little speed check by Massey in red. That's going to open the door for Ichikawa in blue to move into that #2 spot. So Gable won. Ichikawa now really trying to find a spot to see if he can get Gable out of that #1 spot. You got red, Alex Massey in 3rd. Okamoto Kenji from Japan in that 4th spot. There are 3 competitors battling for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th out here. And Ichikawa is going to edge it to the front right there. Ichikawa taking over the lead. Gable's going to be pushed down into the number 3 spot with Alex Massey. Now, Alex Massey moving into the number 1. This one's going to come right down the line. A little speed check by Massey. That might have cost him 5th place. And they're pushing it, buttering across the line. 3 of the competitors going down. Ichikawa, number 1 spot. Massey, number 2. Gable, number 3. And Okamoto, number 4.
He definitely gets extra points for his celebration, but what a tight race. Any time on the course is a time to try and beat someone else, and we saw such great sporting and competitive spirit there.
And it just looks so close off the bat, and such good lead changes. So exciting to see 4 competitors, 4 riders on course at the same time. The first time in Paralympic history for snowboarding, 4 racing together. This is what it's all about. This is snowboard cross at its finest.
Just a little adjustment there from Keith Gable, and that opened the door for Ichikawa. Anyone's race.
And you look at how they battled right there. You get Gable, a little bit of contact between these two. It looked like it's unintentional. We'll see if they want to take a look at it. But look at all 4 just staying together. And a little speed check right there out of Massey. That speed check put him into 6th place. Now, I think Massey had a chance to be 5th, but speed checking that jump going into it, and then kind of butters it across. Very close. One of the closest ones we've seen with 4 competitors across on this.
What's up,
Party atmosphere at the end of the course. That's 5, 6, 7, 8 taken care of. Time to sort out the top 4 in the men's snowboard cross SBLL2, but more importantly, the gold, silver and bronze medals at the Paralympic Winter Games. Sung Ki of China in the yellow bib. 22-year-old Ben Tudhope with his Yoda Star Wars socks. It's part of his pre-race ritual. Matti Suhamatri of Finland, 35 years old, champion in 2018. But will he be stopped by Garrett Garros, the 22-year-old from the USA? Former wrestler. He'll be ready for the rough and tumble on the start line of the Paralympic Winter Games. The gate's down, the riders are out, they're over the spine, and it's gonna be close.
And close indeed. Look at this, all 4 of them. There's only room for 1 around the turn though. How's that gonna play out? That's gonna be yellow in the number 1 spot. Sung Kui from China. China continuing their dominance out here. That's gonna be red. Matti Surhamari in that number 2 spot. A little touching going on between green and blue. Ben Tudhope in blue. Garrett Garros, USA in green. So right now, Garrett is in that 3rd spot. That's the bronze. He's going to move into a silver medal situation now. Matti Surhamari is going to open up the lead. You don't want to give Matti that much room, because when you do, he can run the race all the way to the end in that number 1 spot. So Matti Surhamari, number 1. Garrett Garros from the USA, number 2 right now. Garrett trying to find an opportunity to see if he can grab the gold from him. Here we go. Down to the end. Who's it going to be? Matti Surhamari, landing gear down. He's going to cross in the gold. The silver is going to go to Garrett Garros, and the bronze to Ben Tudhope from Australia.
Pure genius emotion on the snow in Beijing.
What a race indeed. Maddie Surhamari, the gold. Garrett Garros, the USA, the silver. And Ben Tudhope, the bronze for Australia.
They call him the sledgehammer. When he goes past, he leaves his mark. And he is again a Paralympic Winter Games gold medalist. And a big hug with Ben Tudhope, his training partner in Finland, part of Team Unicorn.
You take a look at the start. Look at how good they are over the transition, over the spine on the Wu-Tang. They all were very, very solid. Now, when you come into this first turn, there's really only room for one to get in there. And Sung Hui had that lead and was holding on to it. But it's only a matter of time before Maddie Surhamari finds his opportunity and moves right in there. See a little bit of a speed check by Sung Ki right there. That speed check is not something you want to do right there. That pushes him back. Then you see this inside line. Garrett on the inside gets around Sung Ki, and you got to look back to that speed check. That cost him that. Then he held on to that third spot for a while, but he's heel edge here, where the advantage to Ben Tudhope being toe edge there. He caught up on some valuable ground there. Maddie Surhamari staying nice and low, pointing it. Garrett Garros, in his Paralympic debut for USA, will cross in that silver, but Maddie Surhamari is the golden boy, with Tudhope following it out with the bronze.
Well, he's not going to miss an opportunity to get the flag out for Australia. He's lacking a finish flag at this moment. Garrett Garros with his Stars and Stripe. Personal celebration there as well. But these two, Matti Surhamari of Finland and Ben Tudhope, shared a coach. Mikko Wendlin, sudden death in 2019, leaving a big hole in their lives. And they said they were racing for him.
Back-to-back gold medals in Paralympic competition for Maddie Surhamari. Gold in snowboard cross from Pyeongchang. Gold again. And also gold in Lillehammer at the World Cup. So Maddie Surhamari, 35 years old, continuing his dominance.
Ben Tudhope, absolutely jubilant, I think, shaking his head there. Yep, I am a bronze medalist at the Paralympic Winter Games.
He was 7th in bank slalom in Pyeongchang, and he was 10th in snowboard cross in Pyeongchang, but Tudhope getting the bronze medal. An emotional end to the men's snowboard cross SBLL2 as we await the recognition ceremony at the Janjikau Genting Snow Park.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Beijing 2022 Paralympic Winter Games medalists from the Paris Snowboard Men's Cross LL2 competition. 女士们、先生们，请欢迎北京2022年冬残奥会残奥单板滑雪男子障碍追逐 LL2级项目的获奖运动员入场。
So you're quite happy to pick up your board and carry it across the snow when you're on the way to a virtual podium. It is a recognition ceremony. No medals yet, they will follow, but this is a chance for them to celebrate the good work they've done. Quarterfinals, semi-finals, the final and the podium. And that man is the gold medal snowboard cross champion for a second Games running.
Bronze medalist representing Australia. 获得铜牌的是澳大利亚运动员 Ben Tudhope.
This is his third Paralympic Games. Ben Tudhope, bronze medalist. He was 14 years and 91 days when he was the youngest athlete to represent Australia at the Paralympic Winter Games in Sochi. 8 years later, he is a bronze medalist.
Silver medalist representing the United States of America. 获得银牌的是美国运动员 Garrett Garros.
Garrett Garros started snowboarding at the age of 7. He trains around 26 to 30 hours a week. Also a wrestler, so he knows about the rough and tumble of this sport.
Gold medalist and Paralympic champion representing Finland. 获得金牌和残奥冠军的是芬兰运动员 Matti Suurhumaari.
Well, a man known as the sledgehammer who keeps his emotions under check most of the time is overwhelmed by becoming the Paralympic Winter Games champion for a second time.
Ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation for the Beijing 2022 Paralympic Winter Games medalists. 女士们、先生们，请向北京2022年冬残奥会获奖运动员表示热烈的祝贺。
Matti Suurhumaari. They won't be the last tears we see him cry. And I think when the medals are placed around his neck later, the whole well of emotions will be unleashed. He's got his training partner beside him on the podium, Ben Tudhope, aglow, wrapped in the flag of Australia there. And Garrett Garros, absolutely delighted with his performance. He's earned himself a Shui Ron Ron. The mascots of these games, proving every bit as popular as mascots in days gone by. Our medalist in the men's snowboard cross, SBUL2.
Well, this is the last competition for the para snowboard women and men's cross final today. Congrats again to all the successful para athletes walking away with medals today. You're all winners, and we're all looking forward to the next.
Well, in a country where history is written Page upon page for millennia, a new book has been opened in Paralympic snowboarding.
Well, the first time in the history of Paralympic snowboarding, 4 riders we got to see make history on the best snowboard cross course in the history of the Paralympic Winter Games.
We saw Cecile Hernandez rewrite the books in the LL2 women's snowboard cross, having fought a legal battle to take to the start line. The 47-year-old, the new gold medalist. Matisur Humari in the men's snowboard cross LLB is the 2-time gold medalist. Tyler Turner of Canada winning the snowboard cross SBLL1, and Ji Li Jia with the men's snowboard cross SB upper limit. China are dominating these winter sports.
谢谢你们带着微笑日夜坚守在岗位，同时你们也是本届冬奥会的。谢谢所有的你们为本届冬残奥会这2个比赛日做出的辛苦付出，谢谢你们，爱你们。
彩虹一重重盛开。